All right, it's now 23 minutes to 9. This is Morning Express, and well, it's time for us to talk about matters entertainment. And today we are looking and focusing on a film known as Suicide Note. Now, Suicide Note is a film that is drawn, it's a fictional film, but drawn out of a character who is actually reliving their life. But I am not the one to tell that story. We have some of the actors here and also the director. So let me start with introducing the panel that we have this morning. And I'll start with a lady, and that's Olilo Agnes Hope, who is one of the characters. Good morning and thank you for joining us. We also have Protes Prince Karani, who is the director of photography. Thank you for joining us this morning. We have the director, Jackton Alufuami. And last but not least, we have Benson Mukuna, who's also one of the characters. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let me start with you, Jackton Alufuami. Tell me about the movie, Suicide Note.
Suicide Note actually is more of a true story. We had an incident at Isili when we had these policemen just go get some boys in the street and kill them. I don't know if you can remember that. So my research...
The ones who they were accused of being gangsters.
Yeah, that's right.
I think there was a video that was doing rounds of one of the ones who was executed.
Yeah, actually that's what inspired me as a writer to write the film itself. Then you have to do all the whole research on what is Gaza and this whole thing, what happens in Gaza, what it's all about. Then we came up with the film now. And I wrote it, and then it speaks more of the life of a criminal life, and I had to look for these characters, maybe that were in the thing itself. Then I got Farouk Mali, the Isaac Moro lead character himself, to act the thing, so it was more of a true story, things that really happen on the ground, not just a fiction or something that you think it's to entertain. It's more something that happens in the streets.
So is the lead actor a reformed gangster, or he's just acting as a reformed gangster?
As was quoted by Jael, the Nairobian news reporter, he talked to Isaac Mboro himself, and from that interview you can tell he is a reformed thug. He was a thug in his school life, but things happened in his life that really had to bring a turning point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Protes, you're the director of photography. What have you done in this film that possibly would bring the reality? One thing I imagine that makes a film sell, and selling here is not just money-wise, but even become popular and resonate with the people, is how real it is. What is it that you've put in this film that makes me feel that this really is what happens?
Well, number one, I like to put this across. As a director of photography, I don't just make movies. I want stories that people can relate with. So when he came to me and I looked at the story, I said yes, because a lot of films we do, even in our Kenyan industry and everywhere, people assume what is going on in the ghetto lives. People don't know the real thing that is going on. So people may misjudge, like if you tell someone I'm coming from Dandora, someone looks at you with, you get. So when he came to me and I told him, you know, what we need to do right now, we don't just need to entertain. Let us tell a true story that will tell people how life is and how life can change. You get. That is what I do in all my movies. Even right now I'm working on another one.
So in this particular movie, what have you done to make me feel that, yes, this is what happens? How do I get into that world?
Mostly on how I composed my shows. You know, as the DOP, whatever you see is what I want you to see. So I really made sure I'm composing my shots in that you as the viewer, you see exactly what we wanted you to see and feel in this movie. So it is a lot of cinematic shots, but again, we made it a little bit live.
Okay.
Like you see it and you feel like it's a live interaction. When you watch the movie, the emotions, they are there, it's lively. Okay. Yeah.
All right, Olilo, you're Shani in the movie. Yeah. And tell me a little bit about your character.
Okay, my character is all about a lady who enters crime all because she doesn't have boundaries, and she's looking for money so that she can help her out her parents. Yeah. Is
that something that possibly you could relate with, or do we have people who actually get into crime simply because they're trying to make a living?
Yeah.
Okay, and let me come to you, Benson. You're also a character within the movie. What's your character? And tell me a bit about your role.
First of all, I was Jonte at the movie. My name was Jonte. I was assisting the lead character, Farouk Mali, who is not here with us. The main thing was to drive the points back home, like doing this. We were supposed to go for Mr. Black. Mr. Black was there. We were going for Mr. Black to go and pick some things that we can work for gangster, like guns, all these things. We were sent. I was the second in command after Farouk Mali.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me come to you, Protest, and no, not Protest, Jackton.
Mm-hmm.
There are many sometimes objectives of a movie. Sometimes it's just to entertain and, have a good time. There are others that are educational, hopefully get something out of it. What is the objective for Suicide Note?
So now the film industry is more now getting out of entertainment thing. You can't just get anybody to come and maybe sponsor an entertainment thing. Nobody will do that. Now you have
But entertainment is a huge industry. I mean, there are many people out there who are just looking out for entertainment.
Now that's the point, because now when you see, like, maybe just say you are a writer, maybe a director or something. You have this script and all it's going to do is entertain. You're going to get 0 maybe sponsors. But as much as entertaining, you want somebody to get a lesson. Mm-hmm. If nobody's going to get that lesson in your entertainment, then it's more of 0 that you're doing, because I'll actually forget you did anything than just maybe make me smile or make me laugh. So Suicide Note, I wrote it, wanted to pass that message. I want maybe this boy in ghetto, I want him to relate to this thing and feel like, oh, yeah, I have to change. Or if I don't change, this is going to be the end of me, because I've shown the ABCs and also the Z of the gangster life in slums and all this stuff. Like, look at Isaac Moro, the lead character. He was so strong in this thing. He was a genius prone. He couldn't be caught in any way. But at the end of the game, he ends up dead in a way he never thought he would die. He just died in the movie. Like, the government will have to catch up with you, now. And when you look in most ghettos...
So if you had to put it in a sentence, what is the objective of the film?
To teach, to educate.
To teach. What am I supposed to learn from it?
You're supposed to... my main target audience was these criminals that are out there. Mm-hmm. I want them to feel that I have to change. Mm-hmm. My message was to change, to reform them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Reformation. All right, let me come to you, Olilo, and maybe tell me a little bit about being an actor, and especially playing a role like you did, where now you've become a criminal or a gangster, or joined a gang because you're simply looking... You're doing the wrong thing for the right thing. How do you get into that role? Do you have to watch movies? Do you have to talk to people who possibly have done that? How do you get into that role so that you can act it effectively?
Okay, first and foremost, to act that role was kind of difficult for me. But I had to talk to my director. He inspired me to do it more. Because it was about a gangster, I had to put myself into that character.
Have you ever imagined yourself as a gangster or part of a gang?
No.
No. Okay. Yeah. So how was it now trying to execute that role? And what is a gangster?
Okay. As I was in that character, I felt kind of good. As in I'm trying to teach other ladies outside to know that crime is not all about... being a criminal is not good. As in you have to put yourself in that place so that you know the other girls how they feel outside, so that they may reform and know what they will do in their life. Yeah.
Okay. Benson, challenges of an actor. You're also an actor, and how was it acting in this particular movie? And was this your first movie to act?
No, it wasn't. I've done intertwined a feature film and short films. To me, the challenge that I went through is about the part that I was given. You have to bring it out. You have to give your best. You have to do it as if tomorrow is not there. So I was taking time to learn all these things, to make me to get into it. So it took me time, a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Jackton,
sure.
The film industry in Kenya is growing in leaps and bounds. It is a challenging environment. Mm-hmm. Why do I need to take my non-renewable time, which I call a resource, which I call time, to watch Suicide Note? What is it that I'll get out of it?
Yeah, now, because you're investing time and in every film you're doing now as Kenyans, because it's a growing thing, it means you're investing a lot of things in it. Now, you need to get your time. Now, many people say, like, why should I waste, like, a whole 1 hour, 30 minutes watching a movie or rather a film, or rather I should catch that series, Kenyan series that's going on. Because there's some things or other cultures, many things in Kenya you have to learn. They're just interesting knowing, and maybe they'll get you somewhere. So opportunities are out there, just waiting maybe for someone there to come and discover them. But we have to do them ourselves to get these people watch us. We have to prove ourselves worthy. If you go out there, people tell, I can't watch Kenyan movie, because we compare ourselves. And if you know the standard is here and anyone comes and does something down here, you're not going to watch that. You're not going to waste your time.
So have you put the standards up there in this movie?
The standards are high. That's why I trust in it. I know people will watch. I've heard them say it's on point. Because if you give people mediocre and a lot of nonsense, nobody's going to pay attention to what you're doing.
All right, Protas, your advice to DOPs out there and others who are possibly looking at joining the industry as we wind up?
My advice will be very simple. I don't want to repeat what many people say on the show, that don't lose hope, but I want to give them this special philosophy. In everything you're doing, attach a reason. That reason will be the one that is pulling you or pushing you to do what you want to do. If you don't attach a reason and you're like, I just need money, I just need fame, you know, all these things will disappoint you. Yeah.
All right, Jackton, closing comments?
People need to get to watch Kenyan movies, Kenyan series. At least you know what you're doing, learn more stories. Actually, I'm working on another series, TV series, called Breaking Egg. A very interesting story, teen life, doing it in Dandora, authentic school life in ghetto. We need people to come and know what happens in these things. If only you can get to prove ourselves right to the Kenyan audience, and then we can win them. So let them first love what we do. Look for it, search for them. Then we can be at power. We can now say we're growing as a film industry.
All right, finally, is the movie available? Where can I watch it if I wanted to watch it?
We are still checking on that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll have to wind it up right there on that note. Thank you very much, Olilo, Agnes. We have Protest Prince and Jackton Alufwani. Benson, thank you for joining us this morning. And, well, updating us on the movie Suicide Note. And that is also where we are going to roll our credits on Morning Express this morning and exit the silver screen or the small screen until Monday. And from a very dedicated crew that works behind the scenes and ensures that Morning Express comes to you every weekday from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. I can see one of them actually waving and saying, but you can't see him because you're not in front of the camera. But there you go. We say a big thank you for watching Morning Express, and we now exit and wish you a fantastic and a safe weekend. However, don't tune out. Do stay with us right here on KTN News. We've got News Center that's coming up in just a bit. Have yourselves a great weekend. God bless. Take care of yourselves and each other.